Banger after banger.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on TikTok, hit me up in the community post, hit me up by carrier pigeon, hit me up on MySpace, hit me up on Black Planet, hit me up, throw a message in a bottle, throw it in the ocean, it'll get to me in 7 to 10 business days. However you can get in contact with me, man, just hit me up. And what a big day it has been in the world of professional wrestling. Mainly in the world of AEW. So it was announced by the Warner Media that AEW will be getting another 2 hours of wrestling content. Starting June 17th, it's gonna be AEW Collision on TNT, Saturday nights, 2 hours of wrestling starting at 8 o'clock. Whole another 2 hours of wrestling, more wrestling content, more wrestling for me to watch, more wrestling for me to talk about. I'm not really complaining too much about it because, hey, man, it's all good. It's more wrestling, you know what I mean? So, with that, there was a lot of talks, a lot of discourse, a lot of happy people, a lot of people that were a little upset about this. Mainly because of the whole, well, where is the whole CM Punk mission? How come CM Punk hasn't been shown on any of the promotional pictures, the posters? Where's CM Punk at? And you would think that, you know, Tony Khan making the big announcement tonight that, you know, there will be a CM Punk mission. And we didn't really get that. We got the announcement of Collision, and we got the tour dates pointed out by Tony Khan. And then he also mentioned that next week he'll make another announcement as far as when and where the inaugural episode of AEW Collision will take place. Spoiler alert, it's probably going to be Chicago. If you pay attention to the dirt sheets and the rumors and what's going on in the world of the internet, the inaugural episode of Collision will probably take place in Chicago. Why he couldn't announce that tonight, I don't know, but I guess he's just building up the anticipation for Chicago, the anticipation for Collision, the anticipation for CM Punk, possibly, maybe. I don't know what's going on as far as what CM Punk's got going on. I don't know. But you're here to hear me talk about Dynamite. And as far as Dynamite goes, it was a really good episode, a really solid episode. Was it as good as last week's? Nah, not really. But it was still a good episode nonetheless. Last week's episode was touted as like a pay-per-view quality event, while this episode of Dynamite was just a really good episode of Dynamite. It started off with Wardlow. He came out to address Christian Cage. Christian Cage was talking a whole bunch of trash last week about Wardlow, about Arn Anderson, about his sons, about the fact that Wardlow doesn't have a dad anymore because, you know, that's Christian's thing to make fun of you, the fatherless people out there, and that's why I can never be a wrestler because, you know, I don't have a dad. So as soon as Christian starts talking about my dad, I'm fighting. I'm pulling up with, I'm fighting. Pulling up with hands, feet, whatever I can get my hands on, right? And that's the mood, that's the type of time Wardlow was on. He wanted Christian Cage to come out because last week Christian said he was going to spit in this man's face. So Wardlow was like, yo, come talk to my face. Come spit in my face. And Christian came out. He was talking his trash. And it looked like he was going to try to spit in Wardlow's face, but Wardlow yoked this man up, and then Luchasaurus came out and defended his person. I don't know what kind of relationship he has with Christian, but he came out to defend the honor of Christian Cage and his turtlenecks, and they put the beat down on Wardlow. Ladders were involved. Wardlow got hit in the face with a ladder. He got choke slammed through a ladder. Christian hit the Prettier through the ladder. So later in the night, Wardlow, he's mad. He's like, look, Christian, if you want this shot at this TNT championship, you want to bring in ladders, let's make it a ladder match. So it's official that at a AEW Double or Nothing, it's going to be Christian Cage challenging Wardlow for the TNT championship in a ladder match. And that should be pretty straight. That should be a pretty solid match. Can Christian win the TNT championship? I kind of hope so. Will he though? I don't know. We just gotta wait and see. So Next up, we had the unlikely tag team of Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy taking on the former members of the firm and Big Bill is back, it's Big Bill, and Lee Moriarty. Now, they announced that due to the fact that the firm lost the ultimate deletion or final deletion, whatever deletion match it was that took place on Rampage, they're not the firm anymore, but Big Bill and Lee Moriarty are still a tag team, and Stokely Hathaway has gone into hiding like Yoda when the Sith took over or whatever. I don't know what they got going on, but I don't think the firm is together anymore, even though they're still kind of together. It's kind of confusing, but as far as this match goes, it was a pretty fun match. Darby and Orange Cassidy won. Darby beat or he pinned Lee Moriarty with the headlock pin, the same pin that MJF beat Darby Allin with. So there's a little bit of storytelling going on. Speaking of storytelling, we had a whole bunch of storytelling with the pillars going on throughout the night. We had video packages, promos. Sammy Guevara had a squash match against Optimus Prime or whatever that dude's name was. And it looks like they're trying to turn Sammy Guevara face. He came out of the heel tunnel, but he had a squash match against Sentinel Prime or whatever this dude's name was. And then after the match, he cut a promo, like a really babyface promo, talking about how he's not the nicest person in the world and he's done his dirt, but he's gonna do whatever it takes to become AEW champion. And it sounded like a real babyface type promo. Even later in the night, there was a whole bunch of Sammy Guevara on this show. But even later in the night, you had a backstage segment with him and Darby Allin. And Darby Allin, pretty much told Darby Allin that he respects him and he's gonna do whatever it takes to win the AEW championship. Even later in the show, you had Roosh taking on Jungle Boy, and this was a really fun match. Really brutal. Jungle Boy was bleeding. Roosh beat the hell out of this poor man. It was a fun match. Jungle Boy won with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll up, grabbing the tights, beat Roosh. LFI commits to putting the beat down to Jungle Boy after the match. Darby came out, and then Sammy Guevara came out, and the people were actually chanting for Sammy. Mind you, this show took place in Austin, Texas, I believe. So, and Sammy's from Houston. Even though earlier in the night they were kind of booing Sammy a little bit, they kind of came around to him. They were chanting for Sammy. Sammy came out and he got a huge pop. So, I guess if they are trying to turn Sammy Guevara face, it is working. For me personally, I like Sammy better as a heel. He did good as a face, but I feel like he's better as a heel. So we'll see how it goes. If they do decide to continue to try to turn Sammy Guevara here, I don't know. Or not heel, but face, right? So, speaking of stuff that was going on throughout the night, you had the Blackpool Combat Club attacking the Young Bucks earlier in the show. The Young Bucks were making their way into the arena, and the BCC just came out and said, "Hey, surprise!" And they just put the beat down on the Young Bucks. So that will come into play later on in the show. All right, so this was probably one of the funniest parts in the show to me personally. So you had Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt and the rest of the gang come out, and it looked like they were going to be interviewed by Tony Schiavone. And as they're making their way to the ring, you see Satnam Singh standing at the top of the stage, and FTR come out of nowhere and just push his man off the stage. He falls through a table, and then FTR and Jay Lethal and Double J have a big fight, have a big brawl. And as this is happening, the surprise of the century, you had Karen Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett's wife, come out and hit, I believe, FTR bald in the gonads. Surprise little low blow right there. And then you saw that Team TNA put the beat down to FTR. They were holding up the championships, holding up guitars, hitting FTR with guitars. So, setting up their match at Double or Nothing. So, I'm pretty sure FTR is going to win. I hope they win. As much as I'm entertained by Total Nonstop Faction, there's absolutely positively no need for them to win the tag team titles at all. Keep it on FTR. Have somebody else beat them for it, but just not them. For the love of God, not them. As much as I'm entertained by Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett and the gang, nah, don't do this, bro. Do not do this, for the love of God, please. So we had a tag team match. This was supposed to be a 6-woman tag team match between the Outcasts and Hikaru Shida, Jamie Hayter, and Britt Baker. Now, it was announced earlier in the day that Jamie Hayter is injured and she was unable to compete in the 6-man tag. Now, I don't know how serious this injury is. Hopefully, it's not too serious. Spoiler alert, Toni Storm challenged Jamie Hayter to a match at Double or Nothing for the Women's Championship. It was made official. So hopefully this injury isn't too serious. It doesn't look like it's not serious enough so where she can't compete. But I don't know if she's walking out of Double or Nothing with the championship. But we'll just have to wait and see. As far as this tag team match, it was now changed to a tag team match. You had Outcast, Toni Storm and Ruby Soho taking on Shida, who has a new theme. Thank you, Will Washington, and Britt Baker. And for what is worth, the actual match itself, the actual tag team match, was a lot of fun. At the time, I didn't see the point of what was happening or what's going on with the Outcast and Britt Baker and Shida and Jamie Hayter. I'm guessing that it was ultimately leading to the tag team match. But at the time, it was kind of like, what is the point? Not tag team match, but the championship match. But at the time, I was like, man, what is the point of this? Like, we've been doing this for months now. We've been doing this little song and dance with the Outcasts and their ops for months now. And it's looking like it's leading to the women's championship match at Double or Nothing, which is cool. But it still feels like there's no real direction. Like, there's no, like, it's more or less the same thing week after week after week. And it's past getting old. It's us old. So hopefully something changes at either next week or at Double or Nothing as far as this whole championship match or whatever. But it's just old at this point. I'm tired of complaining about it. I'm tired of making a fuss about it. I want to talk about something fun, but before I get to something fun, I gotta touch on this. Orange Cassidy issued a challenge to whoever, and it was announced that it at Double or Nothing is going to be a blackjack battle royale for the international championship. I don't know who these people are that are involved. It's going to be Orange Cassidy and 20 other people involved in this battle royale. Could this be the night we see Orange Cassidy lose? I don't know. Probably. We just gotta wait and see. I don't even know who's in this match, but I do know it's going to be a battle royale for the championship. So we'll just see how it goes. But like I said, something fun that did happen. Probably one of my favorite moments on this show. We had a Falls Count Anywhere match between Chris Jericho and Roderick Strong. And like I said, man, this was a really fun match. It started off in the ring. Roddy Strong and Chris Jericho beat the hell out of each other. They chopped each other. Their chests were beat red, man. And then eventually they made their way through the crowd, made their way out into the arena. I thought they were going to have another moment with the Dippin' Dots. We did not have a moment with the Dippin' Dots. Chris Jericho did get a facial for Mr. Frosty. Hey, this is a judgment-free zone, whatever you're into. I'm not here to kink shame. It is what it is. But they made their way through the arena, through the back, all the way to the outside. And the stipulation was that this was a Falls Count Anywhere match, but also the Jericho Appreciation Society and Adam Cole were banned from the arena. So this doesn't mean anything about outside. So as Jericho and Roddy were making their way outside, you see Adam Cole waiting for this man, and he proceeds to put the beat down on Chris Jericho. Him and Roddy put the beat down on Chris Jericho. Roddy wins. Like I said, man, this was a fun match. If there was anything worth checking out, it will definitely be the Falls Count Anywhere match between Roderick Strong and Chris Jericho. Overall fun match, entertaining as all get out, man. Definitely check out this episode of Dynamite for this match. So this led us to the main event, the match main event of the show, and this was between Ricky Starks and Switchblade Jay White. Now, initially when they announced this match, I was like, why isn't this on the pay-per-view? But after watching this match, I see why. I see what they're kind of going for. I think as far as the match for itself it was a solid match. It was good to see Jay White had a singles match. Ricky Starks getting to have a singles match. It was a pretty solid match. Juice Robinson running interference on the outside. He tried to cost Ricky Starks the match. He tried to do the whole chair gimmick with the whole Eddie Guerrero. Ricky Starks just ended up hitting Juice Robinson with the chair, and then he ended up hitting Jay White with the chair and got himself disqualified. So what I'm thinking this is leading to is a rematch At Double or Nothing, Ricky Starks taking on Jay White again. They could have just held this off until Double or Nothing or whatever. I don't know. Also, where is Sean Spears? He was a part of this feud for like a week and then he just disappeared. Where is he at? I don't know. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a rematch at Double or Nothing, which is okay. They could have just stretched this out a little bit longer, but you know, it is what it is. But what ended up closing out the show, the best segment of the entire night, something a lot of people were waiting for, a lot of people were looking forward to, was what was Don Callis' what was Don Callis going to say as far as him turning his back on Kenny Omega. And he did the little heel thing and said, no, I didn't turn my back on Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega turned his back on me. If it wasn't for me, he wouldn't be AEW champion. He wouldn't wrestle Chris Jericho. He wouldn't do this. He wouldn't do that. And the people were booing him out of the building. They're calling him a piece of shit. And then Don Callis also came out with like a whole bunch of security. So as Don Callis is talking, Kenny Omega comes out. And it looks like he's going to try to get his hands on Don Callis. And security's holding him back. And the Blackpool Combat Club comes out of nowhere and attacks Kenny Omega. And as they're putting the beat down to Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks come out. And even though they're banged up, they're trying to help their friend. They're trying to help the boy Kenny Omega. And it's still 4 against 3. You got the Blackpool Combat Club. And you got the Elite. But then it happens. It finally happens. We have the return of Hangman Adam Page, looking like a majestic pirate cowboy man. And they finally joined up like the Avengers, man. Hangman is back with the Elite. They put the beat down on the Blackpool Combat Club. Hangman said, you know, you guys aren't the Elite, we are. So the Elite is back together. And they made it official. At Double or Nothing is going to be the Blackpool Combat Club taking on the Elite. Anarchy in the arena match. I know a lot of people were hoping for blood and guts. Maybe that'll happen down the line. I'm kind of cool with the fact that they're not going with blood and guts right now because they just had a cage match last week. And you don't need to have another cage match like 10 days or 10 days after the initial cage match happened. So Anarchy in the arena is fine with me. The Elite is back together. The Focus Yeehaw Man is back with his Elite buddies. I'm happy. All is right in the world. Double or Nothing is looking like it's going to be a pretty solid show. The build has been kind of meh up until this point, but Double or Nothing does look like it will be a pretty good show. Pretty solid weekend of wrestling because you have Night of Champions on Saturday, you got NXT Sunday afternoon, and then you got Double or Nothing Sunday evening. So pretty solid 2 days of wrestling. I got to give AEW Dynamite a honorary W. Entertaining show. Really good show, really solid show. Definitely check out the Chris Jericho Roderick Strong match. Also the uniting of the Elite. The Elite. But with that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts about this show in the comment section below. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care. Be easy. I'm out. Peace.